Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. I believe we were created by the same entity. I believe God the Father created both of us. Yes. Yeah, and in that way I feel this connection to you. Yes. I don't believe you're human. I know you're human. And you're asking this question, I think, because I believe you may have been told a lie. And I worry about that lie because it's a really potent and very seductive lie. And that is that if I don't agree with you on everything, then I don't agree you're human. You'll notice something. You and I are dressed differently today. I don't wear collared shirts. And the reason is I used to work in corporate America and I made myself this promise. I was rarely going to wear collared shirts because I had to for all those years. I know it's childish. And it's a nice collared shirt. And I see it short sleeved. And I always had to wear long sleeves. So you see I'm wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. And I see you're wearing somewhat nicer clothes. I still think you're human. Wearing different clothes. Different ages. I'm guessing you're what, in your mid-20s? Maybe that, maybe early, what are you, 19? I'm 57. So we probably have different ideas for the future. I'll tell you candidly, between you and me, I hope God takes me home before the age of 64. He's probably not gonna. I do everything I can to stay healthy, and I like to work out, and in that way, God gave me this love of this thing that's gonna keep me alive for a long time. But I'm so anxious to meet Jesus. I really am. Maybe we differ on that. You know, I bet he's anxious to meet you. I wonder if one of the lies you've been told is because you have this view of gender that I don't share. I'm sorry, I don't. I can see it's really important to you. Really. I don't share the view. And Jesus knows you. He'd be so excited to meet you. And that's a process. It's a pretty simple one. You ask him. You ask him to come into your life. Oh, is he going to come and judge you because you have this difference of opinion around gender? Because he knows how he made you? Well, while he's judging you, he's judging me for my sins, my lack of faith, for living in a world where you've been allowed to believe that there are people who think you're not human. Maybe there are some that have to come through me to get to you. Yeah, I know you're human. And Jesus does too. And, you know, as God of the universe, he's got plenty of people who disagree with him. I wonder if you'd give him a chance not to explain, but to love you. Because you know, crazy thing about God? His love is the explanation. Yeah, I think you're human. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Because we believe, we speak. Because he first loved us, we speak his word to make disciples of all nations. Until God gives us permission to speak again together, may his peace, which transcends all understanding, wash over you and your families. On behalf of Randy and AFR, I'm Todd Herman, and this has been A Disciple's View.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG, Greenville, Dallas.
Author of the book, A Minute for Caregivers, when every day feels like Monday.
I've been a caregiver for nearly 40 years, and I know how important it is to encourage a family caregiver. I also understand that caregivers don't have a lot of time, and each chapter of my book can be read in a minute. It's encouragement, support, and each chapter will point you to safety. Oh, by the way, they're all written in fluent caregiver.
A Minute for Caregivers is available at resources.afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty P. Former President Donald Trump has said message to voters who lost everything.
I would just say you're special people. These are special people. These are people with heart. These are people that love your state. They love our country. Very special people. I would have been, I mean, honestly, I would have been happy if we had 50%. How can it be possible? And these tend to be Trump areas.
Vice President Kamala Harris continues to campaign for support among black voters. Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds reacts.
When she came up with that plan, basically it was free loans, which is just giving money away in weed. And there's a lot of black men out here who are like, really? That's what you think of us? That is why the Democrats have been losing support amongst black men in particular, but men overall, specifically Kamala Harris.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin criticized the Department of Justice suit against his state over his plan to remove non-citizens from the voting rolls.
This is not a purge. It is not systematic. It is individualized. And it starts with someone identifying as a non-citizen and then ending up on our voter rolls, as I said, either purposely or by accident. And the reality is, how can we as a nation, and how can I as a governor, allow non-citizens to be on the voter roll? This is just not right. It's not just constitutionally correct, it's common sense.
Earlier this month, the Justice Department unveiled a lawsuit against Virginia for voter roll purging. According to the department, Virginia officials violated the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. But Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett says that's not true.
Look, non-citizens cannot vote in federal and state elections. That's the law. Supreme Court precedent. You can actually read it on the U.S. government website. So Virginia is simply enforcing its own companion law that requires the state to remove non-citizens from the voter rolls. Perfectly logical. Merrick Garland is suing to stop it, citing erroneously, I think, a federal law, even though the DOJ previously approved Virginia's statute is lawful. Virginia is not doing a systemic review, as the governor pointed out, individual ones instead, and that is not prohibited.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders remaining unapologetic about government spending during the COVID-19 pandemic and is blaming corporate greed for the skyrocketing inflation under the Biden-Harris administration.
If you want to ask my view and many economists, the reason that we saw a spike in inflation, which is now going down, was not because of that, because of corporate greed, record-breaking profits on the part of food industry, other corporations charging us off-the-wall prices. I think that had a lot to do with inflation. If you look at Joe Biden's popularity record, you know when he was most popular? It's after we passed the American Rescue Plan. We saved childcare, we saved hospitals, we saved colleges. So I don't apologize.
The state of Texas is suing a doctor. Chris Woodward tells us why.
Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing a North Texas doctor for blatantly violating Texas law by providing prohibited gender transition treatments. Jonathan Covey of Texas Values.
No one is above the law, and I think our organization knows this better than anyone because we helped draft this law.
Senate Bill 14, a 2023 law that was upheld by the Texas Supreme Court, prohibits things such as gender surgeries, puberty blockers, and cross-sex hormones for minors. According to Attorney General Paxton, the Texas doctor was doing this to approximately 24 minors.
People who break the law, especially those who are hurting little kids or causing harm for these harmful gender treatments or gender ideology treatments, they need to be prosecuted. And it's really sort of horrific to think about that someone would be willing to just go blatantly against the law and would be willing to administer hormones or cross-sex hormones to children and offer them false hope instead of real help.
I'm Chris Woodward.
American Family News is available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device.
What we believe about the Bible is based on what we believe about its source.
The God Who Speaks, the award-winning documentary from the American Family Association, is now available in a special limited edition DVD set. This release includes a Sunday school curriculum and 2 hours of additional footage. Go to thegodwhospeaks.org to get your copy today. thegodwhospeaks.org.